You've studied books, you've done MBAs, you've shadowed great leaders. But the one thing you've likely never done is be initiated into the ancient sciences of leadership. Not strategies, not tactics, but wisdom, older than empires, wiser than intellect. If you are a CEO, a founder, a president, or a leader of any kind, this message is for you, and if you are not a leader but are led by one, send this to them, because the fate of many depends on the awakening of the few. In ancient times, power alone was not enough to rule. Strength was not enough. Ambition was not enough. No human was allowed to lead others until they had been initiated into the mysteries of truth. Because the ancients knew, no mind, no matter how sharp, can rule wisely on its own. True leadership was seen as sacred. Pharaohs, kings, high priests, they were not rulers by force, but emissaries of the gods. They could only govern if they lived in alignment with the divine order. And that order had a name: Ma'at. Today we live in a world flooded with ambition, strategies, and competition, but without inner alignment, no strategy will last. No business can thrive, no community can grow. So if you lead people, in a business, a movement, a family, or a nation, you must remember, you are responsible not only for success, but for order, for truth, for light. And the only way to lead in harmony with the cosmos is to return to the sacred laws of Ma'at. Ma'at was not just a goddess. She was the personification of the universal principles of truth, justice, harmony, and cosmic order. Her feather weighed the soul of the dead, and only those in alignment with her principles could pass into eternal life. Thoth, the god of wisdom and divine scribes, was her consort. He recorded the actions of all souls and guarded the knowledge of the mysteries. Together, they taught rulers how to align themselves with the laws of the universe. And today, we will do the same. There are 7 principles of Ma'at. Each one is a divine mirror, reflecting what must exist not only in a temple, but in a company, not only in the afterlife, but in your boardroom. Let us begin. Truth. Ma'at Principle 1. Truth is not a value. It is not a policy. It is a divine force. Never, in any sacred tradition, has deceit been a virtue of the divine. Never has a god ruled through lies. Lies attract darkness, and every structure held together by illusion will inevitably collapse. For light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. So ask yourself, is your organization built on truth? Does it speak what is firm, what is real, what is eternal? Or is it wrapped in a beautiful lie? In the laws of Ma'at, to lead is to embody truth. What you communicate must be true. What you say, what you do, what you embody must be aligned. Your actions must become your thoughts, and your thoughts must become action in the opposite direction of falsehood. And if you do not know what the truth is, then remember, truth is the opposite of the lie, and anything that is far from falsehood walks in the light. Thoughtful, but know this: not everything you think must be spoken. Not every thought deserves a voice. A true leader does not unleash their mind unfiltered into the world. Words must be weighed like gold on the scale of wisdom, measured, deliberate, and rooted in truth. Yet truth does not live only on the surface. Real truth begins within. In the mirror you face each morning, can you recognize yourself? Do you post the image of a powerful leader, while feeling overwhelmed inside? Do you project success but carry secret failures? No truth can ever shine in purity until it is spoken first within. To the one who judges truth most clearly, your own conscience. Justice. Mahat Principle 2. Justice is not punishment. Justice is restoration, realignment, divine balance. Every soul longs for justice, to feel seen, protected, and treated with fairness. Every team, every community, every company needs to know that justice lives at the top. But justice cannot be carried out by clouded minds. It can only flow through those whose souls are clear, who see beyond appearances, beyond ego, beyond personal interest. Throughout time, great leaders who embodied true justice were never ordinary rulers. They were mystics, initiated into the sacred laws of balance and discernment. King Solomon, whose wisdom pierced the hearts of men, was said to be guided by divine insight. Pharaoh Ramses II, often called the protector of Ma'at, ruled with deep reverence for sacred law. The high priests of Isis, guardians of the mysteries, judged not with emotion but with illuminated hearts. Justice, in its essence, is a double-edged sword. It is a healing embrace for the wronged, but a flaming blade against those who violate sacred order. It comforts the broken, but it burns the arrogant. But remember this: divine justice does not skip the leader. As a leader, you too are weighed by your thoughts, by your actions, by your hidden intentions. Thoughtful, look inward. Is your judgment clouded by fear, by preference, by pride? True justice begins not in a courtroom, but in the silent court of your own conscience. Harmony, Ma'at. Principle 3. In a world pulled by opposing forces, where factions compete and interests clash, a leader must become a weaver of peace. Harmony is not silence, it is not passivity. Harmony is the opposite of war. It is the foundation of peace, and peace is the womb of prosperity. No empire can flourish in chaos. No organization can thrive in division. Harmony gives life to growth. A true leader is guided by the spirit of harmony. Even when goals diverge, even when personalities conflict, even when voices rise. Because leadership is not about control, it is about orchestration. Just as the elements of nature each have their force, so too do the parts of your organization. Different roles, different minds, different ambitions, yet if aligned in harmony, they can move as one. But here lies the eternal truth. One cannot establish harmony unless harmony first exists within. If the leader lives in conflict, if he cannot reconcile his light and his shadow, his desires and his conscience, his wounds and his wisdom, then all he leads will mirror that fracture. To bring peace around you, you must first make peace within you. Balance the opposites. Unite what fights within. Only then can you create a culture where differences dance instead of divide. Harmony is not imposed, it is inspired, and it begins with you. Balance Ma'at Principle 4. Balance is the law that holds all others together. It is the invisible thread that keeps the universe from tearing itself apart. For a leader, balance is not a luxury, it is a responsibility. Imagine your leadership, your business, your team, your vision as a sacred scale. When that scale rests in equilibrium, it fulfills its purpose. But tilt it too far, and chaos follows. Excess may appear powerful, it may feel productive, intoxicating even, but every excess comes at a price. The more attention you pour into one place, the more your gaze disappears from another. And what is neglected withers. Disbalance breeds instability. It invites confusion, burnout, resentment. This is why the leader must be a living embodiment of balance. Your behavior must not show extremes, of indulgence, of avoidance, of favor, or of neglect. You must learn to pour energy where needed, but always with wisdom. To give heart and mind to all parts of your organization, not equally, but proportionally. The measure must be right, the weight must be just, the presence must be whole. Balance does not mean sameness, it means sacred proportion. And just like harmony, balance must be born within first. If your mind is pulled in 10 directions, if your spirit is overwhelmed, if you sacrifice your health for growth or your soul for success, then you are off center. Return to your center, still the scale, and let balance, not ambition, guide your hand. Order Ma'at. Principle 5. Order is not a prison. It is the architecture of the cosmos. From the tiniest molecule to the vast spirals of galaxies, everything that exists in sacred sequence. As above, so below. As within, so without. Order is the principle that holds all systems in function, in your body, in your business, in your world. Without it, there is no flow, no clarity, no sustainability. To lead without order is to build a palace on shifting sand. To govern without sacred structure is to open the gates to chaos. A true leader sees order not as control but as the divine rhythm that allows every part of the whole to move freely. In a company, order means structure, clear roles, defined flows, sacred timing, transparent rules. Order allows innovation to take root and creativity to blossom, because the ground is stable. But this order must begin in you, the leader. Is your day ruled by discipline or by impulse? Do you serve a ritual, a rhythm, a code that guides your life? Or do you serve the noise? Even the great leaders of old, pharaohs, high priests, and sages, submitted to sacred order. They followed rituals not because they were slaves to them, but because they knew order is divine. Ordo ab chaos, order out of chaos. This is the sacred formula known to all initiates, to all true masters of the craft, including the revered 33rd degree masters, who understand that without divine order, even the greatest wisdom descends into noise. It is the principle that keeps the fire from consuming the temple, that transforms ambition into legacy. Let your leadership be a mirror of the cosmos. Let your business function as a constellation, not a battlefield. And let the rituals you follow become the compass that keeps your house in divine alignment. Compassion. Ma'at Principle 6. Compassion is not weakness, it is not pity, it is divine strength wrapped in gentleness. In every organization, there are people carrying invisible weights. Fears they don't speak of, failures they try to hide, battles they fight in silence. A true leader sees beyond performance. He sees the soul behind the title, the human behind the task. Compassion in leadership means creating a space where dignity is preserved, where mistakes are met with understanding, not shame, where humanity is honored, not exploited. But compassion does not begin in your policies. It begins in your heart. If you cannot offer gentleness to yourself, if you despise your own wounds, if you hide your own pain behind a mask of power, you will become blind to the pain of others. Leadership is not about pretending to be unshakable. It is about remembering we are all souls on a path. Your employees, your partners, your team, they are not assets. They are human beings. Let them be seen. Let them be heard. Let them be safe. And let your compassion flow from a deep well within. The well that remembers, we are all learning, we are all healing, we are all sacred. True compassion is not indulgence, it is presence. It is the ability to hold space for another's journey, even while guiding the path. Lead with compassion, speak with compassion, decide with compassion. And your organization will not just succeed, it will elevate. Humility, Ma'at, Principle 7. The final key, the last gate, the crowning virtue of divine leadership, humility. Without humility, success becomes poison. Without humility, power turns to pride, and pride is the silent architect of downfall. Many leaders rise high, but those who forget their smallness before the divine fall hardest. A leader who inflates his ego, who believes he is the source, who mistakes position for holiness, will one day be crushed by the very weight he built for himself. True humility is not self-denial, it is self-awareness. It is remembering that you are not the center of the universe, but a servant of its order, a steward, a channel, a guardian. The world is not governed by presidents, it is governed by principles, by forces, by the divine. You do not lead alone. You are being watched, guided, weighed. And the measure is not in your fame or your profits, but in your alignment. Humility is the light that keeps you grounded, the grace that keeps your heart open, the reminder that greatness is not in domination, but in devotion. If you are given influence, if souls walk under your banner, if lives depend on your word, then bow your head even as you raise your voice, because the higher you are lifted, the deeper your roots must go, and only humility will save you from yourself. Any organization is a construction, and you are its pharaoh. The greater your knowledge, the greater and more enduring your legacy. So ask yourself, what are you building? And more importantly, who are you becoming as you build? Do not forget, when we speak of greatness, we must look to those who built the Great Pyramids. They were not just architects. They were initiates, masters of sacred law. So too must you become. Follow Solon. You will need it.